Thank you very much for coming back to watch our YouTube channel. My name is Jethro Oyalakun, Service Director of Welfare and Family Life Network. In the last video, I talked about why do women nag. I remember in the last video, I shared 13 reasons why women nag, and our advice that's a husband or a wife or a single brother or sister, you do well to go back and watch that video, because what I'm going to do in this new video is a build-up to the last video we posted. So today we are going to the concluding part in this series about nagging. I will be talking about signs that you are nagging and way out. So many times we are guilty of something, but we don't actually know we are guilty of it. So I'm going to be giving examples and signs that you are nagging. It's not only married women that nag. There are single ladies that also nag. So nagging is not actually because you are married or single, but it is more predominant among ladies. Nagging is an expression of negative emotions because somebody kept on saying the same thing again and again just to propel or enforce a decision on the other partner. Come to discover that there are two things that makes a woman nag again and again. Number one is money. Money matters is a serious matter. The second one is home chores. Cooking of the meals, doing the dishes, mopping the floor, taking care of children. So women are prone to nagging around these two basic reasons. It's either for money or about domestic chores. But you need to understand that nagging does not do any relationship right. When you begin to nag, it's a matter of time. You're going to drain life out of that relationship. Let's start by looking at signs of a nagging woman. What are the signs? What are the things you can actually take notice of to tell you that you are nagging? Number one, short answers. When you begin to give short answers to questions, it's a sign that you are nagging. For instance, your spouse woke up and asked you how was your night, and before you all say, wow, the night was good, and by the time you are telling him the night was good, you are already giving him a kiss or a hug, and now he's asking you how was your night, and you just, fine, and you walk away. Now, that's a sign that you are a nagging woman. You understand? When you begin to give short answers, you understand? Somebody is expecting you to give explanation, you are just too brief, and you are just giving it very, and it's not that it is just brief because you are in a haste. It's not that you are in a haste, you are just deliberate about it. It's a sign of nagging. The next one is isolation. When you begin to isolate yourself from your partner, it's a sign that something is going wrong somewhere. Isolation is a major reflection that something is not going right in a relationship. And I've come to discover that immaturity on the part of the men also is a problem. A man that is not mature wants to use physical energy to control the wife, and a woman by default has her energy in her tongue. You understand? So you must be very careful as a woman how you use your tongue, because if you are not very careful, it can destroy your relationship. The third one is persistent anger. When your anger begins to persist again and again, it's a sign that something is going wrong. Signs that you are nagging. Number four is raising of voice. See, it's not possible to nag without raising your voice. That's not possible. If I check it out, if you have seen a place where a woman is nagging or a man is nagging before, you come to discover that the voice will actually go up. And have you also discovered that in most cases, a woman does not just nag the husband? I said in the last video that a woman can also nag the colleague in the place of work, and also nag the children, or she can be nagging the neighbor. So nagging is not actually directed at the husband alone. But I've come to discover that if you can control your emotions with your husband, it's easier to control your emotions with your children or with your neighbor. Number five is hatred. When there is hatred deep within you, I tell you, nagging will be there. Hatred. And there are wives that just hate their spouse. Yes, I know there are reasons why you should hate him. He went out and maybe committed adultery, or he wasted family resources, or he has tried to place his parents, family members above you, or he's not responsible in one direction or the other. Now, this might bring up hatred, but one of the ways hatred will find expression is we are going to end up nagging. So if you want to deal with nagging, you might need to deal with the hatred that you have for your partner. Number six is abusive words and abusive questions. You know, I think I shared in one of the video, a married man once told me, I was far away in a particular state. And when I got back to the hotel room, I was discussing with this man, and he told me an experience he had with the wife. One particular night, there was an issue about money with the wife, and because he couldn't meet up with the amount the wife was asking for, the wife cooked. And while they sat down to eat, the husband was like, "Okay, you have served everybody. Where is my meal?" And the woman told the husband, "Your meal is at the backyard of the house." So the man went there, came to discover that while everybody was eating their rice on the dining table, he met the chickens they were rearing at the back of the house inside the cage, eating white rice. You know what the wife did? The wife went ahead and carried the meal for the husband and poured the rice and gave it to the chickens to eat. Now, the man came back inside and was like, "So, what's my offense that I deserve this kind of treatment?" And guess what the woman said? The woman said, "In front of the children, you don't have money, you don't have character in Yoruba. Oh, lowo, oh, niwa." The man told me that night that he nearly died. The man was greatly dejected because of what the wife said. And he told me that it was not just because of what he said, but saying such a thing in front of the children was a great slap to him. See, when you begin to give negative words, when you begin to use negative words or begin to ask negative questions, negative comments, it's a sign that you are a nagging wife. Number 6, when you begin to repeat the same thing over and over again, it's a sign that you are nagging. Usually this will happen because the woman is trying to eat at something. Some months back, a man told me that basically women nag because they want to enforce their decision over the man. Yes, it can be right or it can be wrong. But in most cases, when a woman is nagging, it's nagging because there is a response she's expecting from the man. And until she gets the response, she might not want to keep quiet. So, but you need to know, dear wives, that when you keep saying the same thing again and again to a man, that does not mean the man might go ahead to do that which you want him to do. At the end of the day, he might just sit there looking at you, and for him not to respond in the direction of where you want him to go, the woman might be forced to keep saying it again. So let's go ahead and now look at what are the way out of nagging. So to chart a way out of nagging, I want to say that it's a business between the man and the woman. The woman alone cannot help herself out of nagging. You understand? She cannot just stop that bad attitude. It's going to be a collaboration of the man and the woman, the husband and the wife, to join hands together to overcome nagging. So things that you can do, some are things that the man needs to help the wife on, and some are things that the woman needs to work on herself. So the first thing I would advise that you do is to ask your wife why she's nagging. Now that you've been able to make her understand that nagging is wrong, or now that the woman understands that nagging will not help our relationship, you might need to ask your wife, what is the cause of this nagging? See, until you are able to fish out the cause of the nagging, you might not be able to bring it to an end in your relationship. It might be because you are coming late from work, or it might be because you are not doing something right in the home. It might be because you are not relating well in the family or communicating right. Now, if you don't know the reason why your wife is nagging will perpetually be in your marriage. Number 2, I will advise that you agree on matters when your wife is in good mood. Sincerely speaking, don't wait for things to degenerate before you react. You understand? Make sure that when your wife is in a good mood, use that opportunity to fix so many things. Use that opportunity to communicate your mind and talk about the future. But it can be very pathetic when a woman is in a bad mood. That's when you are trying to talk to her. It might not actually make sense. So when your wife is in a good mood, you might use that opportunity to express your feelings and to also share your mind with her. Number 3, tell your wife her weakness and help her to overcome it. For instance, when you notice that her weakness is she's slow with doing things, you don't need to keep accusing her that you are a slow woman, you are this, you are that. Now, as a man, what I expect you to do is to sit down and begin to design, what can I do to help her overcome this. You might need to just help her while she's fixing this. You are doing another one, and by the time she's fixing that, you are telling her, okay, when you are done with this, can you try this? Can you do this? You understand? You are trying to help her overcome a weakness. If you discover that she talks at the peak of her voice, you might need to, anytime you discover that her voice is going up, you might need to keep quiet and tell her, Oni, you are raising your voice. You understand? So it's a joint work between the man and the woman to help the wife overcome that nagging tendency. Don't just keep quiet and keep praying. You understand? Because prayer is actually the next thing I would advise that you do. But beyond praying, you also have a responsibility to help her overcome her weakness. So I have a principle when it comes to issues in marriage. I personally don't complain about things I've not prayed about. If you have not carried something to God in prayer, please don't complain about it, because your first response when things are not going the way you expect it is not to complain but to pray. Prayer actually is the first response to any major challenge. It's not to go around talking to people. It's not to go around trying to Google online what's the solution to this. It is the first thing is to make sure you Google heaven. Make sure you are calling on God for wisdom and direction and intervention over this matter. Sincerely speaking, if you can make your wife as a prayer burden, if you can carry her as a prayer burden, so many challenges will definitely be solved easily. I've seen that play out in my marriage over the years. There are things I've told my wife to stop doing I don't like, and I said it again and again. I did not get the right response until I started praying about it. So please, I advise you, prayer will help your wife overcome nagging. And if it's your man that's also nagging, prayer will help your husband overcome nagging. Number 5, think about the negative effect of nagging on your marriage. Think about the negative effect. See, the problem with many of us is we don't think about the negative effect of our steps. When you are telling your wife or you are telling your husband, I'm going to walk away, most of the time we are looking at the good side, but we are not looking at the negative side. When you take a look at the negative side of nagging, most of the time, by the time you are done nagging, you are sweating, your heartbeat is beating very fast, you lose appetite, you are tired, and at the end of the day, you come to discover that it has ripple effect on your health. Now, when you know the negative effect of nagging, it affects virtually everything about you. You say things that you are going to regret, then it will help you to control yourself when you want to resort to nagging. Number 6, communicate often. Communicate often. Did the Bible not even say, come, let us reason together? Even God wants us to reason together to solve things. So the same thing is applicable. There is no way your wife will stop nagging when you are not communicating effectively. Not just communication now, effective communication. Now, if you are a good communicator with your wife or your spouse, I come to discover that even when she's not fine with a decision or you are not doing something right, instead of resorting to nagging, there is a better platform that she can use to assess your mind and speak out over a decision that you have made. But think about it, you are a man that does not consider the input of your wife, and you went ahead and took a decision, and you expect your wife to keep quiet. Your wife will not keep quiet because she knows that you don't even listen to her, so she will want to use everything within her power to voice out her mind. When there is a platform of communication in your marriage, it is easier for the woman to want to ride on that platform to communicate her desire, to communicate her concern, to communicate things that she's not in support of. But when there is no such opportunity in the marriage, the woman will resort to nagging and other negative attitude to achieve her desire. Number 7, don't forget we are talking about way out of nagging. And number 7 is our advice that you be a helpful spouse. You know, I said it at the beginning that most women nag because of money and home chores. So as a husband, our advice that you be a helpful wife. Please help your wife with domestic chores. It does not reduce if you help your wife do the dishes, clean the mop the floor, take care of the children. But please make sure as a wife that you don't also make it those things is duty. It will be wrong for you to now tell your wife, your husband, there is water in the bedroom, please go ahead and bathe for the children. It is wrong. Problem I've noticed is this: when a man starts helping the woman in the home, for some immature wives, they try to make that assignment the work of the husband. And please, no man will love it that you are trying to do a timetable. No man will love it that you are trying to give him what to do. You are telling him, okay, there is vegetable on the tray. In the tray, they help us fix that, and you can help us make some. No, see, let the man choose what he wants to do in the family. At the end of the day, he does that, you do this, and at the end of the day, the home is moving forward and everybody is fine. But on no account should you try and tell your husband your duty in this house is to fetch water or to wash the car or to mop the floor. It is wrong. Number 8, when you notice that your wife or your spouse is nagging, just walk away, walk away. But when I say walk away, I do not say leave the house. No, walk away, just leave that present location. For instance, you were talking in the living room and you come to discover that she's nagging. Then to help her, you might need to leave that place to another room. You understand? Now, to some wives, it is when the man is leaving, they might go there and start holding his clothes and start trying to tell him, so I'm talking to you and you are walking away, you are a weak man. No, no, no. Because if you are not a strong man, when you stay there, you might end up doing the wrong thing. That is where the man is trying to use his physical force, slap, blows to control the woman. Just try and walk away from that given place to the room, or you can just, but please don't leave your house, because he who runs away from a fight will definitely live to fight again. So walk away and stay calm. Just receive the grace to calm down. See, we have had stories where the man out of anger drove out of the house, and while he was driving out of anger, the man had accident and died. You understand? So as much as possible, please control your emotions when your spouse is nagging. That somebody is misbehaving does not mean you too should go ahead and misbehave. Walk away and stay calm. Number 9. If you notice that your spouse is nagging, and you remember the first point I did mention was that you should dig out what is the cause of this nagging. Now, when you have been able to notice the cause of it, then you might need to apologize from the depth of your heart. Make sure that the apology comes from the depth of your heart. See, there is something about our wives. When you apologize from your head, they know, and when you apologize from your heart, they also know. When you come to discover that you are the one that is actually pushing her to nag, she does not want you to do something, and you ended up doing it, and instead of just saying I am sorry, especially we men, our ego, this masculine thing is there. We always want to feel, even when we are wrong, the woman should still be the one to say I'm sorry. But when you are in Christ as a Christian, you should be able to apologize for things that you did and even the things that you did not do. But please make sure that the apology comes from your heart, not from your head. Because when it comes from your head, your woman will know, you are trying to apologize to her and say, I'm sorry. What did it turn out? But you say, and somebody said, oh, honey, I'm sorry, and you are hugging her. No, you can separate the two. You come to discover that one is from the head and the other is from the heart. Number 10, control your emotion and control your tongue. Control your tongue. There was a principle one of my mentors taught me some years ago. I was listening to one of his programs, and he said, before you spill it out, taste it yourself. That thing you are about saying to your wife or saying to your husband, before you spill it out, can you please taste it yourself? Does it taste good? If somebody spilled that out to you, what's going to be your response? But the problem with many of us is we don't consider what we're about saying. We just say it, not minding. We just assume she will be fine with it. No, 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 no. Please make sure that you control your emotion, and the way we are going to know that your emotions is under check is that your tongue is under check. You remember the Bible even told us that life and death is actually in our tongue. So you can pacify your spouse with your tongue, and you can actually set him or her on fire with your tongue. When you come to discover your spouse is nagging, please control your emotions and please bridle your tongue. Then finally, number 11, advise that you replace negative emotions with positive emotions. For instance, it's not every time that your spouse did something that is wrong. It's not every time that your spouse did something that is not right. So please, if she suddenly misbehaved now, instead of dwelling on it, if your husband misbehaved now, instead of dwelling on it, you can just think about another positive thing your husband did for you and use that to substitute for the negative thing he did. For instance, last week, before you came back home, you met him sweating, doing the laundry. You understand? Now you came back home late today, and instead of helping you with the children are disorganized, they are hungry. Instead of you shouting and nagging, What you can simply do is just think about 2 weeks ago or last week when he did something right. Use that to compliment for today. Are you getting it? Because the same man that did what you loved last week is the one that misbehaved right now. In most cases, what we do is to concentrate on the wrong that the person did just now, and we forgot the other good things that the man or the woman did for us in the past. When you dwell more on the negative things, you will lose sight of the positive things that your spouse has been doing in this home. I hope this bless your heart and help you overcome nagging and make your marriage an interesting place. You do well to please like and share. For further inquiries, you can reach out to us at withlinenetwork1@gmail.com, withlinenetwork1@gmail.com, or 080 66 21 93 16. Thank you very much for watching this video. God bless you.